Hello again, Keepers of Light. I'm going to be doing your weekly card reading. I'm going to try and get into it immediately so that we don't waste any time. Time. I just thinking about the last reading and how time came up and how a lot of what is shifting and changing really has to do with our perception of time and how we're learning how to re-perceive time and how to work with it in relation to everything. So I'm sure like more of that's gonna come out and unfold eventually. And other things on my mind are how much I repeat myself. Certain things I say over and over again. I just keep repeating certain terms. I say in terms of a lot, and I say now a lot. So I'm not sure how well I'm gonna do in terms of not saying it as much, but now that I'm conscious of it, then hopefully it will kind of help me to not overuse those terms so much. Terms. Or maybe I'm gonna wind up saying it even more. So hopefully it's not gonna annoy you as much as it did, re-listening to some of the stuff that I have posted. I also wanted to tell you all that everything I'm doing right here is really just purely instinct. Like I don't really have any thing to say other than I'm just kind of following wherever this path takes me. I'm just gonna go with it, and I'm hoping that you guys will eventually come to appreciate this or to find benefit in it, because really that's why I'm doing this, is because I'm being guided through my guides here, our guides that have to kind of start speaking what I am being given in terms of information. All these downloads I'm getting, it's just hard for me to connect the words sometimes, and so I am utilizing, which actually makes it a lot more fun now, because I'm utilizing tools like these cards that I'm using, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be other ways that it's all going to come through. But all this is really in practice of connecting to our higher consciousness and getting to that point where I am making myself a receiver of these energies and what the interpretation of them will be. So here we go. Just gonna go ahead. Said I won't blabber too much, but I just did. I am very much a talker, but I'm also very much a hermit too. Like I can be in my shell too. All right, here we go. 1, 3, 4. We're gonna start with 4, and what we got first is Gemini, and this will be the cross-pollinate card. I tell you, like, there's certain cards that are just gonna keep solar calm. Now, I'm not doing this on purpose. Okay, this is new. This is Virgo. And what it says under it is digest and Chiron again. So what I'm telling you is that based on the readings in this October, this Chiron healing card has come up, I think, every single time that I pulled it. This is at least the 4th time. So maybe I didn't pull it one time for a reading that I haven't really posted all of them yet, but what this is all showing me again is I'm gonna actually do something a little bit different, so give me a second. I think the guides are kind of like trying to get me to see something that I'm not seeing too, and which is why I keep pulling, which is the secondary reason why I'm pulling these cards up. It's not necessarily, it is also that the fact that we are in the healing cycle right now, and that it is very much a point of time for us to reference any sort of wound that is blocking us from moving forward in the direction that we are being guided to. So there is that, but at the same time, I can see how it is the guides now they're kind of like trying to re-emphasize something that, and I'm just meaning to take a little more time right now just to see what that is. So I'm being geared to kind of talk more about this intergalactic nature of reality that we're entering into, and there is and has been a hesitation within myself to really start to talk about these topics in that way, because it is not so mainstream. But so there is within me this healing that is being um, called for, and it is really just to be able now to trust in the messages that are being conveyed to me, which are outside of what I had initially started this whole channel on. It was more so very general and basis in terms of, you know, getting to your higher level being perspective. But what I'm being called to see here is how there is like a harvest of information that, you know, it's really for me to help, you know, to help spread that, to pollinate this information to you. And yet I have a bunch of like wounds that are getting in my way, and a lot of it is really centered in clearing my energy system. And you know, when I say my here, I kind of hear how, as I'm doing this and as I'm myself approaching these subjects and, you know, learning how to deal with them, you yourselves are also in that same process. And so I'm going to be relating this particular message to myself, in that the guides are telling me that I'm supposed to be reading this to myself, not to you guys. But at the same time, you're supposed to be hearing it so that you can um, you can take from it the same messages that you can take from it what you need, because you will also find benefit in that. And so here we go. um i have I have wounding, and this wounding is not something that was like a one-time thing. It's more like, you know, like a karmic wounding that is repetitive in nature in terms of my lifetime, and you yourself are going to be able to associate with what I mean here, in that you're going to be able to, you know, come up with your own interpretation of what that wounding is for you. For me in particular, it was and has been wounding in terms of voicing myself, and this is what I started this reading about. Like, I didn't want it to be like a whole session about me, but at the same time, I can see that right now there is, and I can feel that there is transmutative energies that are being crossed over here in this manner at this particular moment now. I said now. So what it is my when I was younger, I I shut down my voice. I shut down my voice, and it was because I experienced certain situations that made me want to completely shut down and not use my voice in the way that I am intended to in this lifetime. Now, the guides have assured me that it really isn't anything for me to have regret about, in that I still accumulated enough of lessons that I went into this clarification um, situation. And one of the reasons why I shut down was because there was too much there was too much energy coming at me. So, and this kind of like, you know, this topic really kind of goes back to my sense of origin when, and okay, so anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and come out with everything. So my story is that I'm a starseed. So when I came into this incarnation, I had six, seven, yeah, I had complete knowledge of who my starseed family was, my connection to them. I had complete knowledge in that, and it was my reality. Like, it was that I was connected to them. And then I did experience some situations where by I shut all that down, and it was intentional, in that it was kind of like the way that I had um, intended it to be, so that I could immerse myself like in this reality and not be so and not be so um, caught up in my starseed origin point of energetic interface, because that's how I came in. And for many years I immersed myself in it. I was living in Africa for up until I was 6 years old, and before coming here to the United States. And so what transpired was that I literally had those initial years immersing myself with my connection to them, and then thereafter completely disconnecting, not completely disconnecting, but disconnecting to a level where that I did not feel as though that they were with me anymore. Like, I felt like I was abandoned. And that kind of comes through too, in terms of the one of the or some of the readings that I, or some of the channeled messages that I have posted on the YouTube. So the thing is we shut down, and the point is, and they're talking about Chiron, meaning like it's that thing that you shut down within yourself. So for me, it's me speaking up, because there were many like atrocities that occurred that I did not speak up on, because I wanted to, protect my family. And I also kind of felt, and I want to, like, there's going to be, they feel like there's so many topics coming up here, but I want to keep it relevant to the readings. And so I am cross-pollinating, because the point is that I digested enough information here, and right now, like, I guess this is the reading. This is the reading. So, what are you supposed to gain from this? Because, or what are we all supposed to gain from this? Vision. So, when we do not look at our Chiron wounds, and we do not see what they are, or acknowledge what they are, and when we do not stop from running from them, and to look them in the eye and see what they are, then we kind of lose our vision for, because we're able to see into the future in such a way that now we're going to be able to get the tools and the technologies. It's the whole keepers of light energetic family. We're all here designed to have vision in terms of how to move forward with things, and we're not going to be able to get to that level of vision if we haven't dealt with this type of healing that we've been up to. And so one of the things that I wanted to point out is that there is a lot of us are empaths, and what this means is that we've spent a long time of our lives blaming ourselves for things that occurred in the past because we felt so deeply what we felt, the energies that were transpiring within not just ourselves in reaction to the things that occurred, but we also felt what the other people in our lives were feeling at the time. And that became very confusing because what happens is you start to question within yourself, and you start to misidentify where those emotions, where those energies are coming from. You, because you're having them, and because a lot of what we're talking about here is dark in nature, because you're having these energies come at you, you do take them on a lot of the times because you want to take burden off of the others who you love in your life, but other times without really even understanding what you're doing, you're taking on these energies, and at the same time you're calling them yours, as opposed to now in this time period, the healing is that we are called to now look at those same energies, because a lot of us are still carrying them with us. And how we know is that what we shut down, if we're not now able to release that shutdown mode and come out and express and create and be who we want to be, or who we are supposed to be, so that we can carry out the vision and the guidance that we're receiving. Because I mean, they're right here, they're literally telling us that there's a lot of vision here available to us, and that we, in order to plug into it, it's really just looking at learning how to look at the energetic blockages that we have, and then releasing those. And releasing them really is not going to be this does not have to be this painful experience that we have thought it would have to be, which is why a lot of us haven't necessarily even tried to look at those subjects that once were so hard for us to look at, because the energetic because we had taken on so much of the powerful energies at that time of occurrence, that we were unable to separate our identity from that. And so right now there is we are in this moment where we can look at these moments. We can see that it is because we have this interface, which is very much a powerful one, in that we can not only look into ourselves to see what those energies that are no longer in alignment to the level higher consciousness that is now calling us to step into. Then I mean, we can now see that, like we can now have these conversations. That's why I'm here voicing it, because I am now expressing, because I'm now releasing this wound, which to me, because I am supposed to be a vocal messenger, it was the thing, like the center point of existence, that really has not allowed me to be as to be completely in my chosen identity spectrum of being a keeper of light. So the advice here is first house, arrival. So this is again about yourself. This all points back to myself. So there is an arrival, and we're coming back into ourselves. We're coming back not just into ourselves, but, and for me, into myself, because it's into that self that I know myself to be, in who I know myself to be as a starseed. So I am arriving back into myself, and you also are arriving back into yourself, because as you clear this chiron wound, now it's not to say that it will completely be gone, because we're in this 3D matrix reality here, this three-dimensional reality here. And one of the things about it is that we don't always completely escape. We are always in the midst of energies around us, which could come back around again into our lives. But what's different is that now that we are coming back into our higher selves, we're arriving back into that point of higher self-awareness, then we can now see the energy for what it is, that it's just energy, and that we can stop putting labels to those energies. And particularly if we are going to put labels, we're not going to be mislabeling and saying that, oh, okay, because I experienced this particular energy, then it was because I am weak, or I am a bad person, or I am there are many labels that we've kind of like assigned to ourselves because of our empathetic nature. And so, but right now what is happening is that there's a reorganization of our energetic system. We're being called to completely reprogram the energies that have been affecting us in the ways that really have constricted us from living the highest level existence that we have available to us here. And not only that, like once we've done that and created this calm within ourselves, then what we have digested, what we have accumulated in terms of information from the visions that we have, we're going to be able to to share that with the world, and help to create this new reality that we're all are about to step into envisioning. And therefore because we have now put down the and rearrange the energies that surround what has been blocking us, and we're unblocking ourselves, then we're going to have those visions, and we're going to have the capacity to move forward in the ways that we've been looking for, in terms of receiving what we're receiving now from these messages, and what we will be receiving going forward. So I will leave this one as it is right now, because it was deep, and it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to come out, but it is exactly what needed to come out. So until next time.